Hi everyone!
Hi!
So we're back again. This time we wanted to do a video that wasn't like a series related or something, it was book related. And it's something that we've been talking about quite a lot recently.
Yeah.
We want to talk about it with you guys as well. And that is competitive reading.
Yeah.
And the nature of competitive reading. And what we mean by that is, say, for example, a book is coming out that's very popular, and it's who can read the book the fastest.
We're talking about BookTube, really.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't want to be personal about any one particular person. It's not about that. It's about the idea of
it's the nature of booktubing that's becoming more and more of a focus and a popular.
I think the problem with it is that because publishers have realised what an amazing advertising tool BookTube is, and they have been sending the people books or paying them to promote the books, but obviously these days they have to say it's a paid promotion by Simon & Schuster or whoever.
Yeah.
I think the problem with that is it has made BookTube not about books anymore. It's made BookTube about money.
Yes.
It's made BookTube about a lack of honesty, if I'm honest. I would love for one of the bigger booktubers to hold up the latest Sarah J. Maas or the latest Cassandra Clare and say, this is shit.
Yeah. I mean,
for these reasons.
The one booktuber who we both really like, who we've gotten into recently, is a girl called Ariel.
Ariel Bissett.
Sorry, that's it. I couldn't think what her surname was just then. I was like, oh God, this is bad. No, Ariel Bissett. She's really great. Yeah. She rarely does like reviews like I do each week, but she talks about a lot of topics, and she's so honest. Like, she says, right, I've just got sent this copy of 13 Reasons Why by the publishers. I have no interest in this book, so I am not going to read it.
If
you know, she really values reading but she does have her opinions on things, and she's going, I am not going to read a book because I've been sent it. If I have no interest in it, I am not going to read it, and I really respect her for that.
Ariel did a wonderful video recently where she was talking about competitive reading, about how reading has become a competitive sport because of Goodreads and because of BookTube, and she makes an incredible point where she said this idea of reading X amount of books in a year is silly because years are different.
Yes.
And she even uses the example of having a new baby, and I was just saying to you.
Yeah, do you want to tell your story? Yeah.
I have loved reading since I was a child. I have always read books. When I was 25, I became pregnant with my son, and I read up until my maternity leave, and I remember what book it was. It was called Born to Rule. I can't remember the author's name, but it was about 4 granddaughters of Queen Victoria and how their lives kind of intersected and how they were close as cousins, but as queens, sometimes their countries would come into difficulties with each other. And I read that, and I finished that before my son was born. I did not pick up another book for 18 months.
Yeah.
Because having my baby was so incredibly tiring. Reading was a luxury.
Yeah, you didn't have time to sit and...
The only thing was survival, was sleep. Yeah. Sleep was
key.
the goal.
Yeah.
Was the goal.
Yeah.
And I mean, in that time, I had to move house as well.
Yeah, you did.
I moved house. And it was such a stressful time. And then when he would have been 18 months old, my sister-in-law said, you have got to read this book. And by that point, I was becoming okay again.
Yeah. You've got a balance, hadn't you?
I had by that point. Because having a baby,
it was, you'd moved to Worcester at that point, hadn't you?
I had moved to
Worcester, so you completely relocated from Gloucester.
I totally relocated because of my husband's job. And we'd been there 6 months, and I was just settling into being in a different city, to making new friends, to all that kind of stuff. And that's a huge upheaval on its own,
let alone
having a baby with you, a young baby. So my sister-in-law said to me, you have to read this book. You will love this book. And I picked it up, and I was expecting it to be not much of anything. I was like, really, this is honestly. And I fell absolutely in love with this book. And it gave me back that love of reading. And it made me realise that it is okay for mummy to have this little piece of herself back again.
Yeah. That book, by the way,
was Twilight.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people are like, oh my God, how could you read that? It's so tropey, it's so this, it's so that. But when you are starved, literally starved of yourself, because having a baby is a wonderful thing, a beautiful thing, an amazing thing. I was ready for it. I was in a totally great place in my life where having a baby was what I wanted, and I could support that child. I was married. It was all good.
Yeah.
Still hit me like a train.
Yeah.
And it's a massive, massive readjustment in a woman's life. So to have that world just for me was wonderful. It was absolutely what I needed. And Twilight led on to other books, and it's 9 years later. My son is 10.
Yeah.
Next year.
He is, yeah.
And I feel like I am finally myself again.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot out of you having a child.
Because obviously Laura had a second child.
I did have a second child 2.5 years later. So and she's just getting to the point now where, well, it's okay for mummy to sit in the corner and read for a while they occupy themselves.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful. I can't tell you how wonderful that is. But basically the point is that Twilight gave me back to myself.
Yeah.
And I will always have affection in my heart for it. For that.
And I think you have that with certain things, like Harry Potter for me, when it hit me. And there are other book series and individual books where I'm like, I can pick that up and I know exactly when I read that for the first time, what I was doing, what my life was like, everything. But so just because it's Twilight, that's not a bad thing.
No.
And I hate it when you have people that go like, oh my God, really? You're reading that? No, don't put me down for something that I like. Just as you can't put me down for music that I like, films, TV, whatever. You cannot put me down for that.
No, but the point is I did not pick up a book for 18 months.
Yeah.
And it didn't even occur to me that would be a problem.
No.
Because it wasn't. I agree. Since watching BookTube, my attitude to reading has changed, and it's bothered me.
Okay.
It's bothered me that
in what way?
I started it.
Yep.
I started it
Yee.
a week ago. I've read 196 pages of it
in a week.
In a week. And I have a voice in my head going, you should have done more.
Oh, no.
You could have done more.
No.
And it's ridiculous because it's December. I've got 2 kids and 2 schools to sort out.
And job.
And a job. And a house.
And everything on top.
And 2 dogs. And I've read 200 pages in a week. That's an achievement.
Yeah.
And Christmas and everything that comes along with that.
Yeah.
That's an achievement.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with BookTube is it's made this kind of artificial atmosphere where reading is concerned.
Yeah. I mean, for my experience, obviously with my first year of doing this channel, I was doing the 1 book a week because that was a challenge for me. I managed to get through that and I was like, yay, But all I did was read and sleep and work. I didn't do anything else. And I missed out, you know, meeting up with friends and doing like good
films that you wanted to see.
Films I wanted to see. So much stuff. Yeah. And so this year, I'm like, okay, I'm going to still do what I'm doing, but I'm going to take my time with it. Yeah. And it's like, okay, yes, I do tend to apologise because I just can't help but say, oh gosh, sorry guys, it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But it's 3 weeks where I've worked full time. You know, I've been doing college stuff.
Yeah.
I've been doing my own writing. I've been meeting up with friends. I've been going to films.
I've been having a life.
I've been having a life, and it's like, okay, it's taken me 3 weeks to read a book.
Yeah.
That's still like I think Lieutenant Wildfire Hall, which I'm nearly finished, by the way, after a couple of weeks. I think that's about my 30th book this year.
I think
in comparison to the previous year, where obviously I read 52 books, that's very low. But I don't care because this year I'm taking time for me.
Do you know what's bothering me about BookTube as well is about the competitive nature of it. I see it a lot when I watch like 24-hour readathons, and this is not to be disrespectful to anybody that does that. Yeah. I want to make that clear in this video. I'm not being horrible to anybody. I'm talking about
who can read for 24 hours straight. That's wow.
Well done to you. I can't do that.
Yeah, even when I spend like last weekend, I have a weekend to myself of reading. I read for like an hour, then I get up and I do something, and then I come back and do. I cannot sit for 24 hours. I mean, the longest I was saying that I sat for a book. Well, it's not a book; it's a play. You know, the longest time I've sat was when I read Cursed Child 18 months ago. Yeah. And now I finished it in like 5 hours or something because I was so enthralled in it. I didn't notice the time passing.
Yeah.
Other than that, I cannot sit for long periods and read. I need to get up and do stuff, just as I need to have music or something in the background.
Yeah.
I cannot sit in silence.
Yeah. But I think a thing that's bothering me is it's not the books that matter anymore. It's the numbers.
Yeah.
It's that I read 16 books this month. Well, that's great, but what else did you do?
Yeah.
It's become more about page numbering than about the books. I would so love for one of these booktubers to read Great Expectations, read a biography of, I don't know, Pablo Picasso, read something. Anyone, anything. Take 6 weeks to read it and tell me how you felt about it.
Because it's the thing with the booktubers as well, because obviously it's linked to the whole, I've been sent a copy of this, I'm being paid to do this. Yeah. They cannot say anything negative about it, or perhaps they're reluctant to say something negative because obviously they're being paid to promote this book. Now, my channel's dinky. You know, but I love that. Even if I had absolutely thousands of subscribers, I'd be the exact same way, where I'm going to tell you how I feel about this book, the things I didn't like, the things I did like, the things that I think could have had, you know, better structuring or something like that. I prefer honesty to when it comes to booktubing and like reading or reviewing and such. Then someone just going, oh my God, this is absolutely amazing. And then I pick it up and I go, why?
Yeah. Yeah. And I've got a problem as well with the aesthetic nature of booktube. Don't get me wrong, right? I love that books are beautiful.
Yeah.
Book covers are supposed to catch your eye. That's the point of them.
Usually the person who's designed the cover is being paid more than the writer has to write the book.
That's crazy for a start. But secondly, like, I get that is true. But what I don't understand is, like, why don't booktubers say, I got this copy of, I don't know what, from a second-hand shop.
Yeah.
It's not brand new. Yeah. It's not. And you know what? I heard a piece of advice one day when I was 13 years old, and I have never, ever forgotten it. An old English teacher of mine said to me, if you walk into a second-hand bookshop and you see a book that's falling apart. The spine is cracked, the pages are gnarled and yellowed and curling. That are taped together. Buy that book because that book is good. A book that is battered and bruised is a book that's been loved. I don't believe in keeping your books like pristine things under glass. I don't like that.
The only books I feel funny about, you know, are keeping perfect because I can't help but do it, are my Harry Potter hardbacks.
See, Ravenclaw, I need that top.
My Harry Potter hardback books. And my special fabric covered hardback copy of Wuthering Heights. Because they are in my soul.
For you.
Anything else, like Tenant of Wildfare Hall? It's all bent. The front I got all bent. It's all spine is all broken. It's a paperback.
And
it doesn't matter.
Ariel did a beautiful poem about.
Oh yes,
break my spine to show me that you love me. I love
that was poem. Wonderful. Ariel, we strongly recommend Ariel's. I'll put a link to her stuff in the description of this.
Ariel does something which I hugely love, is that she will recommend me books I have never heard of. The bookshops don't push. Like, she did this wonderful video with another booktuber. I can't remember the girl's name. Where they were talking about short books, books that were under 200 pages or just over 200 pages. I was writing those down. They're all in my wish list. And I went to one of my favourite bookshops in Worcester, which is a charity bookshop, and I bought 5 really short books for £8.
Wow. It's funny because actually the other day I went to Waterstones in Cheltenham. I went to the upstairs and there's a poetry section, and right there on the table was a poetry book that she'd recommended, and I started flicking through it.
I bought I bought
the honey one.
Milk and Honey.
Milk and Honey. And I was like, there was an entire table just dedicated to this book.
I really want that book.
And I started flicking through it, and there was no way in a million years I would have gone to the poetry section. Because I don't mind poetry, but it's not my thing. I prefer prose. But I was like, oh, that's that poetry book she really recommended.
Milk and Honey.
And I started flicking through it.
Because the author of that, and I know her last name is Kaur. I can't remember her first name though. She did a TED talk, beautiful TED talk.
Oh, did she?
All in her poetry.
Oh,
and she's brought out another book. I think it's called The Sun and Her Flowers.
Right, maybe that was why they had the table of it to promote.
Yeah, but the other books that she recommended in that video, there's one called The Princess Saves Herself in this one. By a girl called Amanda Lovelace, which again is poetry, and it's a wonderful poetry book, and that's amazing. The Ariel, who by the way was named after the book by Sylvia Plath, the poetry anthology by Sylvia Plath, apparently.
Good to know. Not the mermaids.
Not the mermaids, no. But she recommended this poetry, and I never would have picked that up otherwise. And it's incredibly powerful. And I love that about Ariel, that she will recommend books that I've never heard of. Whereas a lot of mainstream booktubers, all they talk about is YA and the latest YA book. And I know I sound ultra critical, but there was this one time that 2 very prominent booktubers did the exact same video about books that made them cry. And I thought, this is odd, because these 2 people, there were 3 books that made them cry. The first 2 books were exactly the same, and the third had obviously been their choice.
Right, okay.
And I thought, this is odd. Why would they do that? And then I thought, well, maybe it's because they've been paid to do it.
Maybe.
And it was before they had to say that they were paid promotions by whoever. By Disney Hyperion or whoever.
Yeah.
But I understand that it's a job.
Yeah.
But
I love one thing that Ariel does, because sometimes she'll say, oh, I really love this book, and then she'll go, by the way, this is not a paid promotion, I'm just telling you, this book is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that she does that. She just says, by the way, this is it.
She's so smart, and God, I wish I'd been that smart when I was her age.
Me too.
But I love that.
I saw a video by a booktuber, I think a few weeks ago, and it was like top 10 books to read in your lifetime, and all of them were YA. And it's like, you can't make that statement without exploring other genres, in my mind.
I think that the thing is with YA, because I read 5 YA books in, I would say, a week to 10 days. Yeah, I think it was a week or 10 days or 8 days or whatever.
That was back in the summer, wasn't it?
That was back in the summer. The thing is with YA is that YA is quite a direct genre. It's quite
We're not saying YA is bad.
Oh no,
because there's so many awesome YA writers,
great
books,
YA writers.
But it is a case of there is other stuff out there.
There really is. Yeah. Like, I read them, and they were the stories are very, very straightforward. I'm not saying that they're not emotional, because they were. They really were. A couple of them absolutely gutted me.
Yeah.
And I've talked about those on this before.
Yeah.
But like, I find YA very, very easy to get through.
Oh yeah.
You know, I find YA so particularly contemporary YA.
Yeah,
I find very, very easy to get through, and that's great. And I'm not saying it's bad, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what, guys? There's so much more.
Yeah,
there's so much more.
YA, I feel like, because obviously it's marketed for young adults. Obviously, anybody can read it.
Yeah,
but I kind of feel like YA should be kind of like the stepping stone to lead you on to other stuff. That there are various people and booktubers out there who only stay there.
Yeah.
They won't explore other stuff.
And I think they're very, very lucky, actually, to be the age they are at this kind of renaissance point in publishing.
Yeah.
Because when we were that age, YA did not exist.
No, we had Judy Blume books or Sweet Valley High.
Sweet Valley High.
Or Point Blank, the horror books.
I actually really enjoyed the Point horrors. I read quite a few of those.
And if you weren't old enough for Point horrors, then you had Goosebumps.
There was Goosebumps.
Yeah.
R.L. Stein doing the work.
Yeah.
Putting the work in.
Yeah.
But
that was it. That was it. That's all we had.
That was all we had, and that's why that led us on to Bronte and Dickens and the adult classic genre.
Yeah.
And, you know, our father has 3 tenets of his fandom life.
Yeah.
Tolkien, Springsteen, and King. So we grew up in a household.
Yeah, we grew up like reading Bronte whilst Bruce Springsteen is in the background. You know, kind of.
Yeah, we grew up in a household with loads of stories.
Constant
stories.
Yeah.
And I think that, I don't know, I mean, even if you take it back to our parents' generation, there was no such thing even as Sweet Valley High or any of that in their time.
No.
So to grow up reading meant you had to broaden your horizons as a reader.
Mm-hmm.
And what worries me about certain booktubers is that I feel like the narrowness of their focus is limiting them.
Yeah. Now, there is one video that we both watched that we didn't agree with, to do with reading the book It. I won't say particularly who it was or, you know, kind of things, but it was just kind of like, this is ridiculous. But one statement that got made in it was that they went to a bookshop to look at horror books and were annoyed about the diversity within the horror section. Now, to me, that's a bit well, first of all, a shocking statement to make because of the diversity bit. Are they talking diversity of characters? Are they talking about diversity of authors? Because it's like, as we said previously, about how I have to read a book that's written by a woman, then also by someone who's black, then or someone who's Asian, you know, that kind of thing. There is it by diversity. Are you talking about diversity of the authors, of the characters, or of the genre of the book?
Well, I didn't.
There's so much out there. I was shocked that she said I couldn't find diversity in this section of the bookshop.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
I started and I'm on hiatus from it now. I wanted to read chick lit for a year.
Yeah.
So I was reading books written by women. Now I had picked up a lot of traditional chick lit novels.
Yeah.
And I hated them.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I absolutely could not stand them.
Yeah.
So I was reading more sort of feministy
what was the one about the butterflies?
Butterfly Summer by Harriet Evans, which I loved.
Yeah.
That is the most beautiful book. I loved that book. Now, I got to this end of the year, and as you just saw, I'm reading It by Stephen King, because I got to the point where I was like, I don't want to read another love story.
No.
I've had enough.
Yeah.
So I picked up Full Dark No Stars by Stephen King, partly because the film 1922 was on Netflix, and I wanted to read the book first.
It's a short story.
And it's a novella. It's a novella collection of his. And I, having previously been reading books about sort of love stories and stuff, I'm reading this book about this man confessing to the murder of his wife in 1922, and it was like I'd opened a window.
Yeah.
And the air was just blowing in. Because this was dark and twisted and scary and full of like human psychological stuff, which I love so much.
Yeah.
And I have decided, I said I'm on hiatus. I've decided I am never going to limit my scope ever again.
Yeah.
Because in limiting yourself, you are missing out on so much.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to say, do you know what, I don't like that book, I'm not going to finish it.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to say, I don't really care how many books I read. I don't care how many...
I think that like with my book challenge, just as this year, where I've taken it slowly, everything that I'm reading is in my bookcase upstairs. My bookcases, should I say, because I've got many.
You do? You should film books.
I have to take my laptop upstairs, but you know what
like, ooh.
Kind of a weird kind of pick them. But the thing is that these are books that I've bought, so that they interest me. I'm not choosing something at random that I've never come across before. So I'm obviously dealing with loads of different genres, so I'm not limiting myself, but I know that they're books that I want to read.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily going to like them all, because I haven't liked them all, but because they're in my book collection.
Yeah.
They've clearly sparked an interest.
Yeah, there's an incredible booktuber called Mercedes. I think her channel name is Mercy's Bookish Musings, I think is her name. And she's an incredibly intelligent, astute, articulate, fantastic woman who has gone through she did this video about falling out of love with reading, because she felt enormous pressure because of her channel, which is not one of the massive booktuber channels. It's a smaller one, but to keep reading, and the process of reading had become a source of stress in her life.
Oh, I think so.
Because she felt so like, I have to read this and I have to read that. And now she's like you, she's taken her foot off the pedal, and she's just reading as and when she wants, for as little time, even if it's like half an hour or not at all. If she doesn't want to read at all, that's fine. But I thought, how sad is that? that this thing that brings so many of us pleasure and love becomes the source of stress because you have people watching you reading.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would just love for one of the big booktubers to make a video and go, do you know what, guys? I love reading, but I cannot do this at this pace anymore.
No.
I
need a break.
I need a break.
Yeah.
I need to stop this being.
Yeah.
You know, and I know like they get advanced reader copies. I know they do.
Yeah.
Of course they do, because that's what publishers want.
Yeah.
And the amount of times I've seen like a big YA release, like the big ones, like John Green's Turtles All the Way Down, or the latest Sarah J Maas book, or whatever.
Yeah.
And they have had a video filmed, edited and uploaded the day the book is released.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what, guys? No. Just read the damn book.
Just read it's funny when you mentioned Turtles All the Way Down.
Yeah, I've got no interest in that at all.
No, I watched a bit of Ariel's video about it. Have you?
Yeah,
she's actually, her name's in the book.
Oh, right.
Because she is part of a reading group panel who actually read through some chapters of John Green's book.
Right.
So her name, along with all the other people on the panel, is printed in a book, and he sent her a copy with a handwritten.
Oh, that's
on the
nice.
inside cover is a handwritten letter to Ariel.
Really nice.
She's like, John wrote this for me, you know, this letter. So she's beaming about this letter on the front page. So she's like, and then she talks about it.
Yeah.
You know, it was, you know, things like that where it's a lot more personal. And it's very nice.
I have to say, I respect John Green for taking the time out to write a book that he wanted to write and taking his time to write it, because I think that there's a problem within the YA genre of quality being compromised for money.
Yes.
And I've seen it myself in Sarah J Maas's writing. I loved Sarah J Maas. The first 4 Throne of Glass novels were fantastic. Empire of Storms, not so fantastic. I still haven't finished it. And it's been like a year. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And she's got another book series, a Court of Thorns and Roses series, which I haven't read. But a lot of people who read the last book, a lot of the smaller booktubers, said this is not that good for this reason or for that reason. And there's a lot of talk about the lack of diversity in her novels and all that kind of stuff. And I do think that there's a problem with quality when it comes to series, because if they sell well, the publishers are like, right, we want for next year and next year and next year. And the author is essentially just churning out the books. And I'm like, if you had the opportunity to have 2 years between books so that you had room to breathe and room to really think, would you have made that choice?
Yeah, it's like how I think like the fandom, Harry Potter fandom, are so respectful of JK that she went and they were like, you know, get a book out a year, and she's like, no, I'm not doing that. I want to give you something that's good, and the fans will like, we'll wait 2 years, we'll wait 3 years, whatever.
Yeah.
Just
like her next Cormoran Strike book that came out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
No idea when Lethal White will come out.
Well, Lethal White is going to be sometime 2018, but they haven't said officially when yet, because they've said that the third one, the
Career
of Evil drama with Tom Burke and Holliday Granger is going to coincide with the release of the next book, which will be next year.
So probably autumn.
Yeah.
Probably.
It depends, because obviously they filmed Career of Evil, so they're just waiting now.
Well, we'll see.
We'll just see, but she takes the time.
She does.
And we're totally fine with
and
that.
I admire and I respect authors that do that. But at the same time, I feel bad for authors who are trapped in that kind of contractual thing too.
Yeah, and you can see that with like Philippa Gregory.
Philippa Gregory went, sorry, love, but
she was an all right writer.
She was great
and then
at
she
first.
was like, when the Tudors kind of hit and that interest in
Tudor history
kind of, obviously it was already very high, like here, but then suddenly worldwide it went.
Yeah.
And they did the adaptation of The Other Boleyn Girl from her book. That film is awful, by the way. We won't go there, but that is awful.
The TV series isn't that bad.
No, the TV series was
pretty good. Okay, the film was dreadful.
Okay, they sexify some things. Okay, yeah, no, they sexify some things, but at least they get the dates right. They get all that stuff right, but that film was awful. No. Anyway, back to Philippa. It was kind of like she had to churn out one a year, at least one a year.
Yeah.
And now she's doing YA.
Yeah, she's got a trilogy, a YA trilogy.
Yeah, YA.
Which I haven't read. But
yeah, but it was kind of like her writing just.
But please don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I appreciate that these kids. She said at the age of 35.
Yeah, but they're usually about 16, 17, aren't
these young people.
Yeah.
Work very, very hard to do this. Yeah. I'm not discounting that at all.
No,
all I'm saying is that I just wish that the focus was broader. And you know what, guys? If you want to make a 25-minute video, make a 25-minute video. Yeah. I hate this idea that you have to have videos in bite-sized chunks.
Yeah, you can't say or or sound like you're saying something that's silly.
Like, and you're like, oh my god, this video is going to be so long. It's like 20 minutes. Like, girl, what? 20 minutes is nothing.
Yeah.
Like, literally, if you want to talk about a book for an hour, talk about it for an hour. I don't care. In fact, I actually like long videos because I can put them on when I'm cleaning and I can just listen to them. And I like that. I mean, that's why you and I waffle on for a year.
Nobody's complained to me yet about how long our videos are.
But like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to take a year to just read classics.
Yeah.
Read classics.
And I would also say to those, younger booktubers as well, don't, the competition of how fast you can.
Yeah.
Take it in.
Yeah.
What is you are reading, what it means. Because kind of going back to this video again about it was reading it in 24 hours. And the girl who did it, she managed to do it in 25. And that was most of the day she was listening to the audiobook on double speed because the audiobook
I don't know how she could have really taken it in.
And it's like, and when, because you're reading it now.
I am.
And because you sent me the video. And I was reacting to it and you were going, oh my god, this is hilarious, your reactions. And now you're reading it and you totally get what I mean.
I do understand because it is such a dense book. I mean, it is literally... This version is 1,100 pages long.
Yeah, the one that I read that my dad lent me was about 1,000, and the text was teeny tiny.
I mean, and I love this cover. I don't usually like movie tie-in covers, but I really like this one because you can't really see. You won't be able to see it on that.
But you
Pennywise is there in the balloon.
Yeah,
but there is no conceivable way I feel that this book could have been read and absorbed and understood in that short period of time. And I'm not trying to be nasty to the girl because she seems like a lovely girl. She seems like a very dedicated girl, and I'm a hardworking girl, and I'm not trying to be horrible. I'm just saying,
take it in.
I don't see how this book could have been properly absorbed in that time.
And because one other thing I'll say about that book as well, it was interesting listening to her talk about the book throughout the video because I think it's that thing, again, she generally sticks with YA, and she was like, I'm on page 13 and stuff is happening, like scary stuff, and it's like, well, it's a horror book.
Yeah.
So it was I felt kind of sad when she said that she didn't contemplate that scary stuff was going to happen in a horror book right at the beginning of a horror book.
And there's something else actually that Ariel said in her video about people rereading books.
Yeah.
And saying that rereading is bad because it's not a new book, it's not a relevant book, it's not a genre limited book.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what, you want to reread Jane Eyre for the 50th time, reread Jane Eyre.
Yeah.
I don't care what you read. And I would love to hear an actual opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I would love you to say about the latest Cassandra Clare, do you know what? I didn't like this.
Yeah.
I didn't like the characters. I thought the plot was thin. I thought this. I thought that. I thought the other. If that is your actual opinion, tell me.
Yeah,
it's okay.
There is a video that Ariel did, and I think it's a lot of various other booktubers have done as well, where it's like certain tags. And one of them was like the throwaway tag or something, and it was books that were just awful.
Yeah.
And like Mockingjay, the third Hunger Games book, was on Ariel's list because she absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
And I was like, awesome! I really loved hearing that opinion. I loved it. But I'm not going to, like, put her down for feeling like she didn't like it.
Ariel didn't like All the Bright Places.
Yeah, she hated all the Bright Places.
You loved it. I loved it, and that's absolutely fine.
And it's wonderful to hear those opinions.
Of course it is. Yeah. Of course it is. I mean, like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody. All I'm saying to you guys is, please be honest about how you feel about books, and don't just give me some teeny tiny synopsis. It's about a girl in a magical kingdom and there's a prince in disguise and all that kind of stuff. Just like when you do book hauls as well.
Yeah, book hauls are weird.
Why do book hauls have to be these quick fire? La, 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 la. Do you know what? Hold up a book. Tell me, why did you buy this book? Why are you excited to read this book?
Yeah.
Expand your opinions and your ideas beyond 5 minutes.
Yeah.
For 50 books.
Yeah.
Like, please, give me...
Do you think it's quite funny
just relax your grip slightly.
Yeah, with the whole thing of the competition of how many books you can read, it's like, if I have, like... It tends to be that with book hauls, it's a picture of how many books can I fit in my arms?
Yeah,
how big's the stack going to be?
Yeah.
It's like, that's not what it's about. It's about what the words, how they made you feel, where they took you. Just...
You know, if you want to pick
reading
out...
has lost its emphasis on what it's about.
If you want to pick out your favourite quotes of a book, tell me why that particular quote affects you. Yeah. Tell me about how the words flow for you. Take your goddamn time and just reading is like fine wine. You pour it out into a glass.
Yeah.
You let it breathe before you drink it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, please just stop with the kind of the need to be on like full steam ahead all the time. And there's one booktuber in particular who I follow, who I really like, but she needs to just turn it down just slightly. And I think she works incredibly hard at what she does. Don't get me wrong, she really does work very, very hard. I get that. But like, calm down.
Do you mean calm down, do you mean because the amount of stuff she's churning out, or do you mean like because of the way that she reacts to
partly both, to be honest with you. And another thing as well is you've got a lot of booktubers who are writing their own books at the moment, and it worries me actually a little bit, because these people, are they writing books because they want to write books, or are they writing books because they get a publishing deal, because they've got X amount of followers, and it's so cynical, and I know, and I get it. And if they're talented writers, don't get me wrong, I haven't read any of these books, so I can't comment on their work.
Yeah.
But part of me is like, there are so many people who are obscenely talented at writing and they get nowhere. Is it right that a publisher publishes their book because they have followers, which is yet again another cynical, money-driven thing, when you're ignoring someone who has an absolute, genuine A-star, gold star talent?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Again, it's the numbers. It's everything.
It's funny, isn't it? Because
reading's lost the focus on reading.
I've said to you, didn't I? It's amazing. It's the BookTube is like what was it? You know how young women and numbers, the commerce directed at young women is all about numbers.
Oh yeah.
It's all about how much you weigh, what makeup you wear, how many books do you haul, how many books do you read? Are you keeping up with your Goodreads goal? Goodreads goals are a load of shite. Yeah. I'm sorry, it is crap. You read the books you want to read, you total up the books that you want to read. It's no one's business.
Yeah.
It's no one else's business.
Like, for example, like, you know, kind of, when I do a review.
I'm not on Goodreads, are you?
No, I don't do that. These are the books I'm reading. This is what I like.
Yeah.
Because I thought to do my review of the year, in a sense, do it a bit different than what I did last year. Because last year was my first time that I'd done it. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, why don't I talk about the non-fiction books that I like and the fiction books that I liked and all this stuff. And straight at the top there for fiction, for me at the minute, is War and Peace and The Tenant Wildfell Hall, and non-fiction straight up there, Another Day in the Death of America. Mm-hmm. Now, how many people are gonna read those?
Well,
this year compared to like the comparison of the amount of other booktubers churning out saying YA. I'm not saying YA is bad at all, because it's not. But at the same time, it's like there are other stuff. Yeah. There's so
I have found myself following
those 3 books. I am so happy that I've read them this year. I have been following a lot of much smaller YouTubers, booktubers who are far more honest in their opinions. Who are that this is literally what this is for us. It's a hobby, not a job. Yeah. That it's just something that they like to do, and I do really worry about the pressure on young women in particular these days, because it's like you can't do anything without pressure. You can't read without the pressure to have read the latest this, the latest that. You can't read without having your number stacked against you. Oh my god, you've only read 20 books this year. Oh my god, like, and it's like, no, you know what? Yeah, because
I've read 20 books. Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah, like you saw, there was one girl, wasn't there? She said that she was having a bad month because she only read 16 books.
She read 16 books, and that was like, a bad month. And I was like, sorry. Girl, you know, like I said at the beginning of this video. For 18 months, I did not read a book at all because I had just had a baby. Yeah. And I understand, obviously, that a lot of these booktubers are not there in their lives yet. I get that. Yeah. But
they're like at university stage.
Some of them
are.
Like that. Some of them are out of uni now. Yeah. But I really worry that the competitiveness of reading has put so much more pressure where no pressure is needed. Yeah.
Reading's no longer a joy. It's
I think it can be interpreted that way if you care about numbers. Yes. And I think that's something that you and I
the only time I've cared enough like that pressure thing was when I first started this channel, because I was going to do 1 book a week for a year. I'd set myself that challenge, and I was determined I was going to meet it, and I met it. But I was so relieved when it was over. Yeah. Because it was like, I could spend a day lying on the sofa if I want to, and not read. It was lovely.
It worries me when I hear girls say, "Oh, I read 3 books this week." Well, when you say you read them, do you mean that you absorbed them? You actually read them? Or are you saying that you skim read them because you wanted to get like 500 pages done that week? Yeah. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. What is that?
I mean, Tenant Wildfell Hall is how many pages?
450.
Oh, hang on. I'm in the notes section. No, it's at them all like 470. But yeah. Oh no, wait, hang on. 489. Yeah. I'm 2 weeks into reading this. Yeah. I'm probably going to finish this today.
Yeah.
Because I've only that's also got a whole section on Anne Bronte and everything and notes about the text. So that's not all of what's actually left.
You've probably got about
I'm on page.
pages
Yeah, I'm on
left.
page 422 and there's 489
so 50 pages.
So I'm going to finish this today. I'll probably upload the video tomorrow or something. But that's taken me 2 weeks, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Not, oh my god, I need to have probably finished this in 6 hours.
Yeah. I mean, there is obviously room for the idea that maybe people aren't being entirely honest about whether or not they read these books. I don't know, but I do think that there is a real.
Do you know what, with the 24-hour book reads that I've seen?
Yeah. Like,
you'll have somebody and you'll see them reading and then they go, right, I've just finished this one. Oh, it was so sad and everything and all this lot, la la la. And it's like, yeah, but we didn't see you get upset when you were reading it. We didn't see you you didn't just suddenly go, say to the camera, oh my god, this thing has just happened and I'm freaking out or whatever. So I can't take in what you're saying, how you felt at the end of this book, if what you've shown on the build-up is something completely different. You know what I mean?
It would be really, really easy if you were a booktuber who was under pressure to get a review sorted and done, to wait a day, watch other people's reviews and essentially cherry pick their opinions and go, I felt this way, I felt that way, without ever having read it. It would not be difficult. Yeah. But I mean, that's, again, I'm cynical and I get that. But I just think that there is a status thing, there is an elitism thing, and I think that's really sad because
like I've said to you, if it's a case of I never get any more subscribers to my channel, I'm fine with that. Even if I were to get thousands of people subscribed to our channel, I'm still going to review the exact same way. And that's why I love Ariel, where she goes, I got sent this copy of 13 Reasons Why. I'm not interested in this book at all, so I'm not going to read it. Her honesty is fabulous.
And I love she got herself a typewriter.
She did.
Because she's a writer. Because she wanted a non-internet sourced thing to write on.
Yeah.
Because she gets distracted.
Yeah.
And I love that too. Because we were talking about our reading routines.
Yes, we were.
And I said that I do my best reading outside my house.
Yeah.
Because I am constantly distracted by the internet. By Netflix. By all sorts of other things. I mean, Christ, I've got 2 kids, I've got a husband, I've got 2 dogs, I've got stuff to do. I have a life outside of my reading.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely fine. But it was just I really, really appreciate Ariel's honesty on that as well. I really do. I think she's a fantastic woman.
Yeah.
And if I was anywhere half as intelligent as she is, I'd be like, she's great.
She's awesome.
She's great. I love her.
So smart.
She is
wonderful.
Yeah. And I think the rest of the booktuber community could do with an injection of that kind of honesty.
Yes.
That kind of... Yeah, it bothers me how little a lot of them have to say about books, actually. They're very happy with their rainbow bookshelves and their lights. And
yeah, they have to have all their books in the background.
By the way, rainbow bookshelves are horrible.
Yeah, I really don't like them.
No. If I don't actually have bookshelves.
No, I have, in my bookcases, I have to one day show you guys my bookcases. I have a bookcase for fiction series with them in order. I then have fiction general, but that bookcase is classics, then sci-fi, then bit of chick lit, that kind of thing. So I have that, and then I have a bookcase that's dedicated to non-fiction, and then I've got my hardback shelves where I've got special shelves, and they're just whatever
Your Harry
order I've
Potter
got them. Well, that's under the fictional books series.
Okay.
At bottom shelf to the left. See, I know that.
She knows her books. Yes.
Yeah. So I have. That's how I will do it. Now, if it was a rainbow thing, everything would be completely muddled up, and that would just really piss me off, quite frankly. See, okay, it's pretty as a shot in the background of the video, but for general usage, no, don't work with me.
You see,
sorry.
I don't have bookshelves. I have a book cupboard.
You do. You have an amazing book cupboard.
I actually had a clear out recently.
You did.
I got rid of a lot.
You did.
I got rid
bags and bags.
I got rid of 7 bags of books.
And they were big bags. They were like
huge.
You know,
because my tastes have changed.
Yeah.
And the things that I wanted to read back in my 20s, I've got no desire to read now because I've moved on.
Yeah.
And I've found that very cathartic because I never used to do that. I never used to.
See, I used to do that when I lived at home because I only had my room. I was very limited in space. But now that I've got my house, I don't really have that problem. But my shelves are now properly filling up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, maybe I should actually start going through stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, when that happens, it happens.
Yeah.
But I used to do it quite often at home. But I know what you mean. It is cathartic.
It really
and like
is.
You found a copy of Gone with the Wind that you forgot that you had.
I totally forgot I had it.
Because we were talking about Gone with the Wind.
And I kept meaning to buy it.
And I said, buy it.
Yeah.
And then you cleared out your cupboard and found it was there.
Yeah.
So
that I'd bought it from a charity shop.
You can find gems.
And that's something else. Yeah. Like A Discovery of Witches, which is a book that our friends have discovered. I found in my book cupboard. I had totally forgotten that I bought it. I totally forgot. And
you're going to read it?
I will. It's on my
to-do list.
Because
to read list.
I took out books from the cupboard that I'm probably going to read, and it's on like a desk I've got in my room.
Right.
Now, whether or not, but again, that's very much subject to my mood. I'm going to finish it. I reckon that's probably going to take me another month, if not longer, and that's absolutely fine. But I will read whatever I fancy. After that, it might be Gone with the Wind. It might be the Discovery of Witches. It might be anything else. But my book cupboard is... it's huge.
It is massive.
It's huge.
It's massive.
It's too big, and I know it, but at the same time, it's the essence of me in this cupboard, and I love it. I love my book cupboard.
That's wonderful.
It's like it's mine, and I've got like all my Outlander books, and I've got my Harry Potter books, and I've got
you've got your top finals in there.
I've got all sorts of different genres. I've got historical biographies. I've got all sorts of things that I love, and that's. But if I had bookshelves, they would be hardbacks first, then paperbacks, but they must be in published order.
Yes.
That's the way I would do it.
I have that with my trilogies or book series. They are all in the order.
In published order, because otherwise it's just wrong.
Yeah. You can't do it otherwise.
I couldn't
do that. The only time I break that rule is like with Sophie Kinsella, because she's got loads of like individuals and then she's got actual series,
right?
The Shopaholics. So I'll do the Shopaholics in order, so they're all sat together, and then the individuals in published order. Yeah. If you actually put them all in published order, you'd have like a couple of Shopaholics, then a couple of individuals, then one Shopaholic, one individual. I wouldn't like that. I need all my Shopaholics together and the individuals together, but they are in publishing order, each set. So yeah, that's the way I would do it. I'm going to have bookshelves one day. I want to get Billy bookshelves because I'm thinking in like 10 years when my son moves out, if he can afford to move out because of the economy and Brexit. But let's not talk about that. That's a whole other.
That's a whole other thing.
Wow. Yeah.
But I want Billy bookshelves, and I want a chaise longue, and I want a stereo in there, and I want that to be my room.
It's really funny. Yesterday, when Laura arrived, we went to my study, and Laura was like, I love this room. I just want to lie here. And she actually lay down on my floor.
I did.
And
I just want to lie here and absorb the stories.
But I love you for that. I love you for that, Laura.
You were like, come on, get up.
Yes,
get
come on.
You were like,
we want to film a video. We've got to do it. We can't do it on the floor of my study. Yeah, come on.
All I'm saying is just loosen your grip.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Just do what you want when you want. reading is not supposed to be about pressure.
It's
supposed to be about pleasure, not pressure.
It's like interested in music and TV shows and stuff like that. Go with what you want. Explore things that you want. Take your time.
Yeah, if you want...
Don't feel like, oh my God, I've got, like, somebody's album has just been released, I've got to listen to it right now, and get the video up ASAP and all this lot. Yeah. No, take your time to really listen.
What was interesting was Ariel was talking about movies and how the attitude to books is so different from the attitude to movies.
Films, yeah.
Because a film you can watch in an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I thought that was very interesting, the way that she contrasted that, the number of books and the number of movies. Nobody keeps up with the number of movies that they read, so why should you keep up with the number of books you read? It isn't important. Yeah. Like, if a big booktuber said, okay, I want to read a book about, I don't know, War and Peace, like you did, none of the big booktubers would ever touch it with a barge pole, despite the fact that it could be an incredibly important, incredibly great book for them to read themselves personally in their lives because of all the metaphysical things that Tolstoy talks about. Yeah. Because it's not a commercial novel anymore. Yeah. They wouldn't touch it, and that's really sad.
Exactly, that's the range.
Really sad.
And the diversity thing of that we've talked about before. Yeah. You need to open yourself up to so much other stuff that's out there, and this is why I really love Ariel, for the things that she suggests for you, the way that she talks about things, and how open and honest she is about everything. Her poetry is fantastic.
Her poetry is, I cannot.
And I love that
she's trying to write a book.
Yeah, for a while she lived in London. She did an apprenticeship at a really small publishing house, which really opened her eyes, and it was really lovely to hear her talk about that. But while she was in London, she had a video where she was like taking tours of her favourite bookshops, and one of them was a Waterstones. Mm-hmm. And she was like, we don't have Waterstones in Canada. Yeah. It was fabulous. And the actual building that Waterstones was in was beautiful.
I know.
Absolutely.
We should do that. We should go on a book tour of London.
But she was like, right, we're here, let's go have a look. And she was exploring, and she was like, there was one, I think it was the actual Waterstones one, or
was it Hatchards?
It was Hatchards, the one that been around for like 100 odd years, and they were chaise lounges, and it was gorgeous, and little nooks that you could sit in, little reading nooks. And it was wonderful to see her.
But she's great. I love Ariel. Absolutely. But anyway,
Ariel, we love you.
We do.
Right. We've been talking for over an hour.
Yes, about this. But yeah, guys, just relax. Yeah. Just do what you want, when you want. Just chill out.
And if you guys want to get into the conversation as well, leave us a comment.
Yeah, please do. If you want to. I mean, I certainly don't mean to be disrespectful to any of you. I think
all you guys, you booktubers, are amazing for what you do, but with the pressure and everything, take your foot off the pedal.
Absolutely.
Take your time to absorb a book and give your honest opinion.
Yeah, and give an opinion. Yeah. Don't just say, this is so good, this is so good. No, tell me why. Yeah. Tell me what it said to you.
What emotion did it stir in you?
Yeah.
And where did it take you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just do that.
Yeah. Fabulous.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That was an interesting discussion.
That was a great video.
That was really cool. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.